First of all, I would like to thank Leon Manovi and Stoyan Germanov and of course Mrs. Gala and Mr. Svetan Uzunov, the sponsor from Oilmex. We thank very much. Until now, we found very interesting this summit. I can say I'm very glad that it's very much focused on technical issues and technology without very much fanfare. I have seen many summits of open source with fanfare and no content. I believe that this conference is very good until now, and I believe that it will be success until the end. Today, with Michalis, we are going to speak about our community, our association GreekLUG, how this association interacts with other communities, how it promotes free software in Greece and in the Balkan region. And of course, the second part, most technical, by Michalis, we will talk about how we manage to construct and maintain our GNU Linux Thessaloniki Computer Lab, which now counts 20 PCs of multiple distros and our unique distribution. So, who are you? We are a non-governmental, non-for-profit association who promote free software to society. We're not everyone in our group is not a specialist. We're from different professions. I'm a chemist and a freight forwarder. Michalis is a system administrator. Our president is a medical doctor. We have even taxi drivers or call center employees. We have people from all society sectors, and our target is to gather technical knowledge from programmers and specialists and promote this to society, people who are not aware of free software. And even in Greece, there are many people who do not know what is about free software. They still confuse free software with non-commercial or freeware. They are confusing terms like hacker term and the libre and free and libre and open source terms. So we have to clarify this and make our association a point of interest for all people that are interested to learn what is about free software and Linux. So for this, we have some actions, of course, courses and presentations where technical aware people can come. We also invite ourselves, but also people come and ask us if they can present their project, where it's free and everyone is welcome. In our headquarters, Thessaloniki GNU Linux Lab, everyone can come and get to know and try free software. For this, we have also established some representations and cooperations, like with the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, we have established the Excellence Center for Free Software, which is funded by European Union, and we organize in the university campus speeches and like we can say antagonist presentations where one can compete with another, and so we can promote free software better. Then we have also some public actions in cooperation with Free Software Foundation in Europe against monopolies like Microsoft, and supportive actions for free software. One example is we had 3 years ago with a public power company an unequal audition, meaning that they didn't have in their call for their invitation for the audition, invited or specified equal terms. They just refer that we want Microsoft product A, Microsoft product B, etc. They didn't have any knowledge of free software. So we wrote complaint letters to all members of Parliament and the Prime Minister, and we managed to make this audition cancel and reopen a new audition with free software included. And of course, when we were able to, we organized Document Freedom Day with a similar activity, like a call to government to establish a document, the free document like ODT or ODS in the public sector, and of course to promoting like non-Adobe PDF software in order to be able to access this kind of closed source type of document. We have official affiliation with FSF and FSFE. With FSFE, we made an application, and with FSF, we have a direct relation because Richard Stallman came in Greece in 2010, and this was a great experience. He liked to add some other terms in our name, so he baptized us as well as GNU Greece. Also, we are a master affiliate for Linux Professional Institute Greece, and we have in our territory all the Western Balkans. For Bulgaria, I know that there is a separate master affiliate. I don't remember the company. But still, there is a possibility here for a community to contact LPI and get to know the LPI certification. We are a Free Technology Academy affiliate. This organization is going under reconstruction, but we have published 2 books with the FDA regarding principles of free software and some basic technical education. And we have memorandum with Πηλαία Χορτιάς municipality, this Thessaloniki municipality, one of the biggest bigger municipalities in Thessaloniki, where we have our headquarters, and the memorandum includes that they support and they provide headquarters for our association, and we provide technical expertise for their public infrastructure. Some of our international cooperations are in Turkey. Here is LPI Turkey manager. This is in Albania. Our president, Konstantinos, with Mr. Redon Sikuli. Open Labs is based in Tirana, and they're a very, very active team. Recently they established also LPI Albania, and they organized their first open source conference, OSCAL. And of course in Italia with Mr. Daniele Sirio. He is the LPI manager in Italia. We have also brotherhood with the free software user group in Italia, FSUC Italia, which is also very active in the European Parliament. This is our headquarters in Thessaloniki. Before we go inside, I would like to show you how we did it, how we managed to have this beautiful place. With patience, money, and time. First, in 2007, there was the first contemporary art biennale in Thessaloniki. There we were part of a project, Farkadona project, and we established the first computer lab, GNU Linux computer lab in Thessaloniki with a Spark, an Ubuntu machine, and a Debian laptop. Then in 2008 we had our first meeting where we discussed what we want and how we want to do it in a 25 square meter apartment. And later this apartment became the first built computer lab with structure cabling, DSL internet, all the comforts that a hackerspace must have. Then we moved in 2009 in another better situation of 50 square meters in the center of Thessaloniki. There we had our first classes, our first courses for people, and there we started our first LPI exam labs. And today we are in 120 square meters office and computer lab that was previously Pilia Hortiatis municipality youth center, but it was abandoned. So we entered there, and we managed to have, as I said previously, 20 PCs with good registers, and Michalis will tell you also more. Now, how we managed to gather people and bring them close to free software. One of our first actions was a very popular program, Blender 3D. This is a designer program for architects and designers. We had a very good teacher who is now currently a professor in China. He left 3 years ago. After a little time after we organized these lessons, and we had each time we had a course. We had around 60 persons in a university room. Also, we had sign language included because we had also deaf people who couldn't hear what we're saying. This was one of our first events and brought many people close to free software and close to our association too. One event later was the speech of our father, Richard Stallman, in a planetarium in Thessaloniki. Perhaps this created chain reaction is still active in the local community because, as you can see, this particular day, more than 300 people were present in this conference room. This is very good because when you start a community, you have 5 people running around and doing all organizing and all details. Then, after you bring Richard Stallman, you have 20 people to do this stuff. And you are somewhat relaxed. And this should be the case because we are all together. We're not centralizing, we don't have centralizing idea. Free software is for sharing, also software, but also the work. So I suggest, because I know Richard Stallman likes very much to come to Balkans region, maybe next time we can invite him, or you can invite him in Plovdiv. We still have some connections with Stallman, but first maybe it would be better to create a second group called like GNU or something, because it's one of his demands that the organization that calls him is either a university or a community with a GNU term inside. This is our team after the conference with Mr. Stallman. We had also impact in the medical teams, like in the Thessaloniki Hippocrates General Hospital. We had organized past medical aspects of cyberbullying. This is a very interesting subject for many people, so we can bring them to free software very easy. And for this, in our lab, like Michalis will say later, we had created special filters with Tax Guardian and other filters using only free software, doing our own translations for Greek terms that violate some filters. And our president, Konstantinos, who is a doctor, presented that to hospital doctors. Also, we organize various events, more technical, like the web server and the Joomla CMS in cooperation with the Joomla community, but also with each distribution community. We try to have an own event, like we had with Fedora distribution, open source distribution, GNU distribution. The other is, no, GNU is Antics, it's Thessaloniki distribution, and Salix, also Thessaloniki-based distribution. From our start until now, we still organize street events. Always there is the risk of rain or not good organizing, but we try because these actions bring many people together. Now, one of our more recent events, and that may be more interesting today, show you is Arduino Day 2014, because we had also courses from two separate Arduino communities in Thessaloniki. You can see we have our own kit, and each Arduino kit is provided to all the participants to try live in our lab while the teacher is explaining what we are doing. So this is my presentation. Hope you find it interesting. Now I will give the microphone to Michalis for more technical details.
Hello, give me 1 minute. Mouse. Okay. Taking on from Kostas, in 2011, when we moved to a new place, we wanted to build a new lab. We had a wider space and many ideas about what to do. Some things we learned by building our lab. It's common, but I have to note them. Is first of all set up a team to organize the whole thing. It's very important to have some people, at least 2 or 3, to be able to run the things. And because the community is large, there are many opinions about what we need to install and how. So you have to pick some people, maybe more probably that are technicians or from the IT department to run the thing. The second thing, of course, is ask as many ideas possible from the community and from your members. Also, check whatever idea brings to the table. However, I don't know, dumb the idea is, check it and try to get whatever best of it. After getting all the ideas, make a choice, but make a plan. Choosing to do something without making a detailed plan will cause you very much trouble. And of course, there are many false options, but you have to foresee to the future. Some projects, unfortunately, they are not supported anymore. So even if you try to choose a good program right now, you have to see if that is going to be here 1, 2, 5 years later. And last but not least, log everything. This is very important. It's very time consuming. Excuse me. It's very time consuming. But you have to write down everything you do. Because it will save you a lot of time at the future. You are able to create a documentation for your users and for your team to support the whole thing. And keep it running in the next years. A small draw of how the thing started. You have the community, the team, everybody are giving their ideas. Then the team is trying to get whatever the best idea from it. And then we have the choice, of course, which leads us to the plan. This is our plan. It's not so simple as it seems. It has, let's say, 5 things attached to it. Our space has the main lab, the office, the heart of the system, which has the server room, and the external Wi-Fi spot, and an internal Wi-Fi network. Each of the parts needs separate things. Let's say the computer lab is for visitors who want to study, who want to see the lessons. The office is used mostly by our members, by developers who need to create something to be able to save it fast and transfer it. Of course, the Wi-Fi, the external Wi-Fi, is for outside visitors, for the neighborhood. This, one of the issues was that we had to separate it from the inside network. And all of it with the most cost-effective way. The first thing was to build the lab, starting from, let's say, the basics. First, to install new wiring, of course, with the help of some of our members that were electricians and helped us build the wiring of the building. Also, try to set up the switches in the network where they should be. Even if you step 1 or 2 meters away, this may cause you a lot of problems. Of course, sort out all the cables that need to be connected at the patch panel in the back room, and check for electricity that's going to the way it should, and the fire extinguisher is full, because always things can go bad. After building the main infrastructure, the second thing was to build our PCs, our main hardware. Of course, there are common tools out there that can be used, test, LM sensors, HD10, from which we tested all our hardware and get rid of the bad things that didn't work. One of the main targets of the plan was to create a multi-distro lab. So the second thing was to choose which distros was best for our hardware. Thus, we started different distros, as you can see, like Zissis, Fedora, to put for all the PCs. And one tricky thing was not to install some crap or little bootloader, because it causes conflict with the main distro we had to install later. Then we had to choose which distro to install as a main distro for the lab, because having a multi-distro lab has some advantages, like people come and see the flavors on Linux, but there are some disadvantages if you want to make lessons. You need to unify the environment. So we called all our members and created a remaster based on Debian Linux, which you can see on the picture at the lab. And also, we set up some local repo in order to be able to update it without having to pull the line and creating heavy load to our network. As I said a few slides back, the whole thing needs to be done with the most low cost available. So we have put all things in just two servers. The first one is a web server that its main focus is to share the content, the local projects for the presentations. As it works as a backup storage for taking backups of the whole the office, the lab, and as the base for the repo of the Debian distro. The second server acts mostly as a firewall, a proxy, and it manages all the Wi-Fi connections to the network. Some more details about them. Of course, web server is the classical LAMP server, Apache, MySQL. Some local content sharing is done by FTP and CIFS. And the Debian distro is mirroring not the whole thing, just some of the packages once per week. The second server acts as a filter for the lab and the Wi-Fi. We needed to be filtering what people would see, especially visitors to the lab. The main tools for this we used Squid and Dash Guardian. One sub-project of the whole thing, as Costa said, was to bring up our members together and translate the Daskantrians lists to Greek because they didn't exist until then. So we put this sub-project to the main thing and created the new list in Greek. Of course, there are some other things like the 3 ethnic cards of the server 2, which with many chains of pre and post routing operates the whole thing for the network. After building the whole thing, there's the question how to maintain it. So we checked for solutions about this. There are many softwares that can automatize the configuration and the update of labs, but we choose to give it to our members and create some custom automated bash scripts. With these scripts, with let's say SSH keys, we can now log into the machines, update it, clean the repo, or remove all kernels, and of course, revert home folders if it's needed if a PC is broken for a reason. And some basic health status report in order to check if the PC is still working. Finally, I don't want to tire you very much, a simple script from one of our users that was configured to run at every boot. It just deletes the computer and creates a new one. But this helps us from a lot of trouble when we needed to do some presentations and people are leaving back messy user files. That's it. Thank you very much.
Questions? Well, obviously everyone is still hungry. And I have some good news. The food is here. It arrived, so there are a lot of sandwiches.
Before food, we would like again to thank you. And our purpose is to establish strong relations with the open source community in Bulgaria. And always you and everyone here is invited in Thessaloniki. And we will treat you the same as you do.
Thank you. Just one remark, we have our guest from Turkey just arrived. Tun is here, so it's Bulgaria, Turkey, Greece here. Okay.
United.
So, какво искам да кажа, доста да се проточихме, ще направим почивка и в 2 часа ще продължим, така че програмата, която е на сайта, имайте предвид, че има половин час забавяне. Едва ли ще има време да бъдете, така че пресметете. Сандвичите са в съседната стая, може да се регистрирате.